Hello，你好，Welcome back，欢迎回来 to another historical, educational, whatever you want to call it, our Asian culture segment. Today, I'm going to tell you guys about a Chinese emperor who, for some weird reason, seemed to be a magnet for assassins. Now you may think that, well, obviously he was a bad emperor. He was a tyrant like Qin Shi Huang, the guy who built the Great Wall and all that stuff. Obviously he's someone like that. Otherwise, why would people want to kill him? I mean, after all, trying to kill an emperor is not a good thing to do. I'm not even talking about the morality of it. I'm talking about when you try to assassinate an emperor, usually, no matter if you succeed or not, you end up dying, right? Like you either get caught or you fail during the attempt and get cut down by the royal guards. Don't forget, most emperors are surrounded by hundreds and hundreds of royal guards. Uh, or you succeed in killing the emperor, but then you either get caught or you get found out, and either you die or your whole family die. Like killing an emperor is a big deal. So why did this emperor uh, just automatically make people want to kill him? No one really know, because Jia Qin Emperor, from 1796 to 1820, 1830 actually. Um, no, yeah. He was a relatively good emperor. He never uh, abused anyone. He never bullied anyone. He wasn't the kind of emperor that go and conquer other people. He just mostly wanted to be left alone, and he did pretty good. Like as soon as he became emperor, he uh, solved one of the largest case of corruption in Chinese imperial history and got rid of one of the most corrupt minister in the court. So who knows? Maybe by getting rid of that minister, he made himself some invisible enemy, uh, and this just came back and beat him in the ass later on. Who knows? All we can say is, for some reason, Jia Qin, emperor of the Qing dynasty, was the second most assassinated emperor in Chinese history. Right? Qin Shi Huang, the guy who built the Great Wall, was number one. But at least in the case of Qin Shi Huang, it made sense. He was a total tyrant. He was horrible. He killed a lot of people. So it made sense that people would want to kill him. But our emperor of the day, Jia Qin, he never did any of that. He was not a tyrant. He was not a corrupt emperor. So what happened? How many times did people try to kill him, and how did it all go down? Well, first let me take you back a little bit from Jia Qin. Well, before he became emperor, uh, Jia Qin was born in uh, 1760. Okay, 1760. I have to some kind of like trying to recall my history here. So 1760, he was born, and then he didn't become emperor until 1796. So he had to be the royal prince for 36 bloody years before he finally became prince, became emperor. And even after he became emperor, he didn't have any power because his dad was still around. And so he did not really come into his power until in the year 1800, when the previous Emperor Qianlong passed away. And finally, our Emperor Jiaqin came into his power and could enjoy being an emperor. And by that time, he was already 40 years old. What kind of a guy was Jachin Emperor? Like I said, he was not a tyrant. He was a very laid back, kind of a chubby, plump, kind emperor. A few instances where he showed how laid back he was. It give us a glimpse into what kind of emperor this guy was. For example, there was one time when Jia Qin Emperor was holding his morning court. And it was a very hot day. And when he saw that all his royal ministers and his attendants were sweating and very hot and very uncomfortable, he told his eunuchs to stop fanning him. He said to his eunuchs, "It's okay. Don't fan me. Everyone else have to suffer the heat, so I should suffer alongside them." Okay, that is the kind of guy we're talking about. Okay, there was another instance where when Jia Qin emperor went into his backyard, basically the inner uh, garden of the imperial palace. He went into his garden just to take a look at all his beautiful trees and plants and exotic flowers, and he found livestock, chicken, goats, uh, wandering around the imperial garden, and some of the goats were munching on his favorite exotic flowers. And Jajin Emperor asked his eunuchs, "What the hell is going on? Why are there livestock in my garden?" And the eunuch say, "Oh well, Your Majesty, because you don't really use this space that much, so we decided that we can raise some livestock and then sell them at the market for some extra pocket money." Any other emperor in Chinese history would have had these eunuchs punished, jailed, or executed for daring to do this to their private garden. But Jia Qin, he was pissed off. He yelled and huffed and puffed a little bit, but then he didn't punish these people. He reasoned that, oh, well, obviously I'm not paying them enough. That's why they're doing this. I feel bad that they have to resort to that. He rather than punishing them, he actually blamed himself for for this. So, like I said, this is the kind of emperor we're talking about. Not a tyrant, not a warlord, but a very laid back kind of guy. But even then, people wanted to kill him multiple times. The first assassination attempt happened in February 20, 1806. Actually, no, 1804. Sorry, that was 8 years after Jia Qin became an emperor. Okay. February 20, 1804. This day, Jia Qin emperor just finished paying respect at the Buddhist temple near the palace. Him and his attendant were on their way back to the inner palace, and right before they got to the inner gate, suddenly an assassin jumped out from behind the bushes wielding a knife. Now, this was so shocking because, like I said, they were already inside the palace. They almost got to the inner gate. No one should be able to get to this point without being spotted by the royal guards. But there he was, the assassin wielding a knife, charging towards the emperor, screaming at the top of his lungs. This was so shocking that all the royal guards went into shock, kind of like they froze. No one did anything until the guy was right there in front of the emperor. Jia Qin emperor was so scared he jumped off of his cart, like he was inside a buggy kind of thing. He jumped out of his buggy and ran on foot towards the inner gate, trying to get away from the assassin. And one of the royal guards, one of the attendants, was the emperor's own brother-in-law. The brother-in-law jumped in there and wrestled with the assassin and got stabbed by the assassin. And the other guards jumped in. A few of them got stabbed by the assassin. And finally, they wrestled the guy to the ground, disarmed him, and took him away to be questioned. During investigation, the guy said his name was Chen De. We'll just call him Mr. Chen, just for ease of communication. Okay, Mr. Chen. Uh, Chen De. So Mr. Chen told the people who was questioning him, uh, that probably torturing him actually, uh, why he wanted to kill the emperor. He said he was 47 years old. He just got laid off. He was a chef. He was a chef for one of the noble families in the imperial city, and he just got laid off. His wife passed away a few years ago, so he has to take care of his two young kids. And now his mother-in-law is also very sick, and because he just got laid off, he had no way to pay for medicine. He had no way to buy food. He is basically at wit's end. He had no way to survive. His family is going to starve. His mother-in-law is going to die, and he said the only thing for him to do was to commit suicide. But our Mr. Chen did not want to die anonymously. He didn't want to die an unknown person. He said if he was going to commit suicide, he wanted to go out in a blaze of glory, and the best way would be to assassinate the emperor. Now, when Jia Qin emperor heard about this, he didn't believe it. Like, what the heck? The guy wanted to commit suicide, so he decided to kill me? That doesn't make sense. So he ordered the questioners, the interrogators, to go back, question the guy again. Okay, I want the truth. But no matter how they questioned the guy, they even interviewed his family. They went to talk to his young son, and his young son said, "Oh yeah, yeah, my dad has been talking about wanting to kill the emperor and go down famous." And they talked to his neighbors, and his neighbors say, "Oh yeah, he's really like really desperate, and he's been having anger issues, and he even get into fight with people." So no matter how they questioned him or his neighbors, it stays the truth. The guy really was just having financial difficulties and really, really pissed off and really desperate. So he wanted to off himself in the most ridiculous and glorious way he knew how. Now you may ask, well, how did he get into the palace? But don't forget, he worked for one of the noble families. He's been to the palace multiple times. So this is probably why the royal guards let him in, because they probably didn't know that he was laid off. They probably thought that he was still a chef working for one of the noble families. So that's how he was able to get to almost into the inner palace and waylay the emperor on the way back to the inner gate. In the end, Mr. Chen was put to death. He was sentenced to death by a thousand cut. Horrible way to go. And because our emperor was so traumatized and he did not want more trouble from this family, he also had the guy's two young sons put to death. This was probably the most atrocious thing that Jia Qin Emperor had done in his reign, during his reign. Uh, because technically speaking, the two young boys were under 9 years old, and they should have been spared by law. But because Jia Emperor did not want to have to deal with them growing up and coming to look for revenge for their father, so he decided to put them to death with their father. Honestly, as much as that was a brutal and atrocious thing to do, we got to also look at it from another angle. The guy was going to be put to death. His mother in law was sick. The two young boys had no way to feed themselves. So maybe that was merciful. Maybe that was a way to spare them the pain of starvation. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there were a lot of better ways to handle this. But regardless, this was the first assassination attempt on our Jia emperor. The next attempt was a little bit more questionable. This one is less certain, but this happened less than 2 years after. It's only a year and a half after the first one. In of 1805, November of 1805, a Buddhist monk by the name of Liao You was caught wandering around the inner city, around where the royal archery ground was, armed with a knife. The knife was hidden on his person. When the guards questioned him, he first tried to make up some fancy stories about he was lost, and then he turned and tried to run away. The guards then tackled him to the ground, and they found the knife on his person. After being questioned, they found out that this Liao You, her son, has been hanging around the imperial city for almost the entire year. And he actually has been scoping out, spying on the imperial palace for the entire time. He has been so suspicious that the Buddhist monastery that he was staying at actually kicked him out. They refused to let him stay there anymore because he did, rather than praying or doing things the monks were supposed to do every day, he was out there spying on the imperial city. According to Liao Youhe he was uh, blessed with a dream. He said Buddha came to his dream and told him that he should go have a personal talk with the emperor, and the emperor would make him a nobleman, make him give him a high rank or some great title. That's why he's been trying to find a way to meet the emperor in person. Finally, he decided to sneak into the palace with the morning crowd because every morning there are people who go into the palace with food items and daily supplies and stuff like that. So he decided to sneak in, disguised as one of the food people, and while he was in there, he got lost trying to look for the emperor's private quarter. Now you would think that this guy would definitely be put to death, but this is where our Jia emperor showed the merciful side of his personality, because there was no concrete evidence that Liao Youhe was trying to kill him. According to Liao Youhe, Liao You, the monk Liao You, he was just there to have a chat with the emperor because Buddha told him to do it. So the emperor decided to not put him to death. Instead, Liao You was stripped of his monk title. His permit was taken away. He was caned 60 lashes, 60 lashes with the cane, and then exiled for a whole year, working in a coal mine, and before he was allowed to go home. Considering how most emperors would have you killed on the spot, If you even go near the inner palace, this was actually very, very merciful that Jaqin Emperor did not put the guy to death. But almost like fate had a thing to send assassin his way, shortly after our Liaoyu monk in February 20. If that date sounds familiar, yes, the first assassination attempt by Chen De, Mr. Chen, was February 20, 1804. So the second one was Liaoyu monk, November 1805. And shortly after, on February 20, 1806, okay, that's not even a whole year, it's just a few months after the monk, a big guy was seen walking to approaching the palace gate armed with a spear. This one's good. I wish we could make this one into like a animation or a movie because this one was really really cool. The big guy walking towards the city gate in the morning, armed with a spear. He wasn't even trying to sneak in. Wasn't even hiding himself. All right, he just like walking with a spear over on his shoulder, approaching the city gate. When the gate guards approached him to challenge him to ask, "What are you doing here?" he used his spear and injured the three guards that came up to question him. The commotion they made quickly alerted all the nearby guards, and they came up. The entire squad of palace guard came out of the barracks. I mean, I don't know how big was the squad, but when you got to imagine at least 30, 40 people. Okay, the entire squad came out of the barracks and surrounded the guy and attacked him. He threw away his spear, pulled out a machete with one hand and a butcher knife with the other hand, and proceeded to kill and injure no less than 10 royal guards before they finally beat him down to the ground. Finally, when they had him restrained and beaten, they questioned him, and he told them, he said, "My name, ah, he said, uh, my name is Sa Mingwen. I am from Shanxi province, Shanxi province." And they asked him, "Why are you here? Are you an assassin?" He said, "Yes, I'm here to kill the emperor because I want to be a hero. I want to be legendary. I want to be remembered in history books." And then shortly after he said that, he died from his injury. I mean, you got to imagine the 20, 30 of them. He was trying to kill them. They were trying to uh, bring him down. I'm pretty sure he suffered a lot of concussion and stab wounds and whatever. I'm pretty sure he went down pretty hard. So yeah, he very quickly died from his injury. When they reported this incident to Jaqin Emperor, again, he did not believe that. He said, "There's no way. Like, there got to be more. There got to be more. This guy can't be that crazy. Just show up at the city gate with a spear and want to kill me because he want to be a hero. There got to be more." So an investigation was underway, and this time the emperor was actually right. This time there was a lot more to the story. Sorry about that. I had to stop and take a sip of my coffee and refer to my notes. So, during the investigation, they actually found out that the guy's name was not Sha Mingwen, as he claimed, and he was not from Shanxi province, as he claimed. His real name was Liu Shixin. Okay, we'll just call him Mr. Liu. Okay, Mr. Liu was actually from Hebei province, and he grew up in a really poor village. He did not do a lot with his life. He was kind of a hoodlum, or kind of a, you can say, a malcontent kind of person, troublemaker in his village. Every day, his only hobbies were to train with martial arts, and when he's not training, he's spreading hate speech about the emperor. So, you guys know the type, the kind of guy that will lift weight every day and then I'll go online and talk crap about the government when they're not lifting weight. Yeah, just think of our Mr. Liu as one of those guys. So, uh, during investigation, it came out that he his family knew how much he hated the emperor, but no one paid much mind to it because everyone thought he's just talking. Every all his friends knew how much he wanted to kill the emperor, but no one paid much mind to it because everyone thought he was just talking. Well, it appears that his uh, mental sickness went a little bit deeper than everybody thought. Because one day, without everyone knowing that this was going to happen, Mr. Liu decided to sell his donkey, and he used the money that he got from selling his donkey to buy a spear.